Today on Ian vs. Daddybones, it's time to make the snakes rise as we open up Thunder Punch He-Man and King Hiss.
Oh boy, kids, we're gonna have fun today!
Yay! Hey! Alright!
How is everyone doing tonight?
Welcome back! It's another exciting episode of Ian vs. Daddybones. Today on the show, we are officially kicking off Masters of the Universe Origins Wave 11, aka Snake Men Wave 1, and I am opening up two childhood favorites this episode for y'all. Just to give you a sneak peek of what the fuck you're missing on the Patreon, I'm gonna unbox and open up Thunder Punch He-Man. For the Patreon subscribers, you are gonna get the exclusive unboxing for His Royal Highness King Hiss as we kick off the Rise of the Snake Men. And man, I got so much shit to talk about this episode, but for starters, let me look at my notes. Real quick, I want to give a special high five and a knuck dap to all the Patreon subscribers. I want to say, what's up y'all, to all the YouTube subscribers, everybody else, get the fucking back, click that subscribe button, smash that share button, head over to the Patreon, throw me $1. Dude, at this point, we are now 19 episodes deep with Ian vs. Daddybones. That means you got bonus footage for all 19 episodes, plus additional content on the Patreon for just $1 a month. 30 days of flavor, $1 a month. Make me a reoccurring charge and give me that $12 annually. Trust me, by the end of the first month, it's gonna be fucking fresh and you're gonna keep coming back. And I truly appreciate each and every one of my Patreon subscribers. I don't even need to go to the notes, because this episode, I don't know if y'all can tell on the other end of whatever the hell you're watching me on, whether it's your laptop, your home PC, your TV, your cell phone, whatever the fuck, your Google Watch. I don't know if that's a thing that you can watch me on the Google Watch. I don't have a Google Watch. I have no idea yet. But either way, I'd like to think that the production value is a little bit better this episode, because of you Patreon subscribers. I've officially been able to upgrade gear this week. Thanks to the generous donations of the Patreon subscribers, as well as a few other close people who've been throwing me some cash on the PayPal to support the brand, I have been able to officially not only add another ring light to the production set, but that new ring light y'all paid for, it is now my main light for Ian vs. Daddybones. I'm able to repurpose the original ring light, and I also was able to finally upgrade my external hard drive that I had at the house. Like, I had a 1 terabyte external hard drive for the past couple of years, like 5 or 6 years. It's been doing the job. But since I've been starting to make content with Ian vs. Daddybones, I've been filling that shit up real quick. And with the backups over the years, it was time for a new one. So yesterday, as a matter of fact, I went to Best Buy and I was looking at their external hard drives, because my original one was like a Seagate and it was like $50 for a terabyte external hard drive. So I went looking for those. I was just going to grab another terabyte external hard drive and just go home and pick up where I left off. But looking at the prices, they had a 2 terabyte external hard drive for $65, so for the extra $15, it made perfect sense to double the storage capacity. So that's what I'm working with right now when I'm home editing, mixing down, rendering the show, especially with everything that I have planned for the relaunch of the Original Geeks podcast. I definitely needed to upgrade my gear. So seriously, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Y'all upgraded the show. Your Patreon donations paid for the ring light, you paid for the external hard drive, your Patreon donations took care of a couple of pre-orders, which is going to continue with Rise of the Snake Men Wave 1, Origins Wave 11, because the 4 main characters in that wave was pre-ordered using some PayPal money given by a Patreon supporter, and I'm just completely doing backflips, and this is working. Like, this is now like starting to become a second job for me in addition to my main job, and we're chugging the fuck along down the track. So with that said, thank you very much from all of us here at Ian vs. Daddybones to all of the Patreon subscribers. And even if you're not subscribed to the Patreon, all we ask is help you build our numbers. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get to at least 40,000 total hours of views and plays on this channel so we can monetize again. I'm even contacting some local businesses who I'm interested in seeing if they would be interested in becoming a sponsor of Ian vs. Daddybones, because right now I'm taking a page out of Killator. I ain't got no time for haters. I'm making that paper, and my mother says I make her proud because I'm making that fucking money now. So thank you very much to all of the Patreon subscribers, supporters. I look forward to all the new ones that keep jumping on board. Another announcement I want to talk about real quick, because we're officially in March of 2023. What does that mean, kids? That means we're officially starting the 1-year countdown until Masters of the Universe Origins Eternia playset officially ships to those who purchased one by supporting the crowdfunding event through Mattel Creations. If you watched the first episode of the show and you've been here since the very beginning, we started off Ian vs. Daddybones with the epic announcement that we were lucky and able to get an Eternia. The only thing is, I had to spend some money that I really didn't have at the time to make sure Eternia was a lock. Unlike the other people and other collectors, I'm not exactly made of money and I'm not rich, so I wasn't able to finance that thing in full. So I'm paying for Eternia, but I'm making payments on it. And I'm making payments on Eternia, and when I get to the point to where I get it down to a small amount that I could just pay it off and be done with it, that's what I'm going to do. But we made the first payment in November, the down payment to get it started. Made my December, made my January, made my February payments. It's time for payment number 4 as we roll into March. And we are officially 1 year until Masters of the Universe Origins Eternia gets shipped to the fucking house. And that is going to be the ultimate holy grail of my collection. So I have 1 year remains until that fucker comes out, and I'm going to keep all of y'all posted as more information comes, because at this point, I've only seen sneak peeks of what the Eternia box is going to look like. The official images haven't been revealed of the finished product and the packaging, but either way, it's going to be fucking sick, and there's going to be so much more Eternia talk as the show continues to go on. But I am definitely super excited now that we have 1 year until Eternia drops. Also, too, I want to give a special shout out to my daughter's boyfriend, Nathan. Nathan had given me he bought my daughter a monitor, because my daughter and him are gamers, and, you know, they're always playing online games on their PCs and whatnot. So Nate wound up getting my daughter a new monitor, so she could game. But apparently, the monitor he got, I don't know. You got gamers that just need a screen. All I need is a screen to see my visual, and I can play my game, and I'm good. Other gamers, and I'm not saying Julia and Nate, are kind of super anal when it comes to the resolution levels and whatnot, from what I hear. And you know, if you can't see this little half a pixel and whatnot when somebody else can on their monitor, then apparently your setup is cap, as the kids say. So Nate didn't like the monitor. Julia got a new monitor. Nate wound up giving me the monitor. And I now have that super widescreen monitor in the basement, and that's my second editing screen. So I got the 32-inch, or I think it's 32-inch. It's bigger than my laptop screen that I'm normally editing on, so having the second monitor is definitely really good, especially when I'm downstairs working out at night and my wife's playing her cell phone games and we're hanging out together and we're binge watching whatever. Young Rock has been our thing lately, so when we're down in the basement watching Young Rock, she doesn't have to worry about whether or not she has her glasses, because, you know, we're getting old, even though we still feel young and fresh. It's just, she's got the bigger screen, so she's able to see it without a fucking problem. But rolling into this year, I do want to say something I'm really excited about, because so far, everything on Ian versus Daddybones that I've been opening, unboxing, talking about, sharing nostalgic stories about, is pretty much everything that I bought last year and stuff that I bought the year before that. So now, you can always tell when people get their taxes, because they're always posting online about buying stupid shit. You know what I mean? This dude's like, yeah, I finally got that PlayStation 5, dog. And this guy's like, yeah, I finally get to eat some shrimp and steaks and whatnot. And everybody's just spending their taxes and blowing it on God knows what. Well, me and my wife are fucking responsible. Because, like, last year, we paid our house off. Rolling into Christmas... Rolling into Christmas, Amber and I, we paid our house off. And this year, not having a mortgage, you know, when we get our taxes back, every year since we bought the house and pretty much ever since we've been married and we've had kids and we've been getting our taxes back, we always throw it back into the house. Like, everything gets taken care of. Property taxes, school taxes, you know what I mean? If we fell behind on anything, we got that shit taken care of. Water bill, you know what I mean? Freaking credit cards, anything that needs to get taken care of, we use our taxes responsibly. Because we use the taxes responsibly to pay all the bills off and set ourselves up for success. So that way we got the following month worth of a dual income, knowing that everything's already taken care of, so we can get set up for the next month and we're not blowing our money on bullshit. So basically what that means right now is, since everything's fucking paid, I can do what I want with my paycheck this week. And that doesn't happen often. So since I can do whatever the hell I want with my paycheck this week, which really was last week, I've been able to officially catch back up with stuff that I've had some pre-orders arrive that I've been slowly chipping off. I've been able to see some stuff in stores that I haven't been able to grab and has been recently on sale. Or I'm seeing some brand new shit in entirety. Like, just entirely just out of nowhere. Holy crap, that wasn't here last time. For example, I went to Target yesterday. I had to get Buddy Mister some new clothes. And we decided to walk through the toy aisle. And when I walked through the toy aisle, I officially saw Space He-Man, New Adventures He-Man, 1989, 1990 reboot He-Man after the original line crashed. This was Mattel's second attempt at Masters of the Universe, even though it was just only called He-Man. And it was all about He-Man and Skeletor in space, and it totally fucking sucked. I hate it. It's my least favorite incarnation of Masters of the Universe. Like, honestly, even if they were to take New Adventures characters and put them into Origins, part of me would not want to buy them because I don't like that line, but at the same time, I'm probably willing to buy them because my main complaint about Space He-Man, New Adventures He-Man was the fact that Mattel put out a brand new Masters of the Universe line. It's like, it felt like they were starting over. You know what I mean? Instead of being on a planet, now they're in space. And it's, no! Because it's fucking terrible. I hate it. And when they put it out, like, it was all a different scale. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't the same size figures. They weren't compatible with the existing Masters of the Universe. And it just felt like a complete waste of time. And it was never my thing. And it was totally not my He-Man. And it just, I never cared about it. Even in the Classics line, when they made, like, the New Adventures characters, like, Flip Shot and Hydron, I think their names are, you know, I didn't give a shit. Granted, I wasn't collecting the Classics line at the moment. It was just, I was aware of its presence. So it's like on one hand, I was in awe of how cool and awesome everything looked. There was just some shit that I'm like, why did they even make that? It was just stupid, and I'm rambling at this point. But at some point, I'm going to be opening up New Adventures He-Man. And that's just that him, and even right here, we got Frosta. Frosta is from the Princess of Power line. She's a She-Ra character. And basically, she's basically the She-Ra version of Elsa, who's got a real big lady boner for He-Man. Like, that's all she wants to do is fuck He-Man. And Teela knows about this. And she's like, bitch. But yeah, I got a bunch of new stuff on its way. Pre-orders have hit. Pre-orders have shipped. Piles of loot have been shipped. And over the course of the next couple of months, we're going to be talking about the rest of Snake Men Wave 1, Snake Men Wave 2. I even made some additions to the Loyal Subjects BST AXN Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line that I've been collecting. I already opened the 4 Turtles up on a previous episode of the show, but now it's safe to say I have added Shredder, Casey Jones, Bebop, and the Foot Soldier to that line, so we're going to be checking those out in a future episode. I also currently have, and I'm waiting for him to arrive, the XL Krang Android body for that Ninja Turtle line. Like, those Ninja Turtle figures are like 5.5 inch tall. This Krang is 8 inches tall compared to the Turtles, and it's just sick, because I posted a video on my Twitter, Facebook. I believe I made a reel out of it. It's on the OnlyFans, it's on the Instagram, it's on the TikTok, but I show a bunch of images of this Krang, and it just looks really fucking sick. And I got Masterverse Manny Faces pre-ordered. I'm waiting for him to come in because I'm super excited to get that version of Manny Faces, because we're going to be having a Manny Faces episode coming up, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm waiting for some Masterverse figures to come in that I can pair up with the Origins counterpart, so I can bring that episode to you, so I can show you the Origins, open up the Masterverse, and that's usually kind of the formula I've been working with this. But I also got my 1987 Frank Langella Skeletor from the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe movie that came out in 1987 and completely 9/11 the toy line. That, because that movie sucks so bad, that's what made Mattel pull the plug on Masters of the Universe. But in the 80s, we only got a couple figures based on the movie. We got like Sorod, Blade, and Gwildor. But we never got Dolph Lundgren and He-Man. We never got Frank Langella Skeletor as variants in the 80s. They weren't able to get the likeness and secure the rights, and it was sketchy and touchy and more complicated back in the day to get an actor's likeness for a doll. Like, you had to be like Michael Jackson or Cher or whatever to like, or Prince to like get a doll like that. But basically, they had Frank Langella, Dolph Lundgren, movie He-Man, and Skeletor in the Classics line, but that was mail order only. The Masterverse versions, first time ever in life available at retail. Masters of the Universe, the movie, Frank Langella Skeletor, Dolph Lundgren He-Man. Both of them were pre-ordered. Skeletor arrived first. He already shipped. So I'll be getting my Frank Langella Skeletor soon, and when I get both of those, I'm going to be talking about both of those. Also, shout out to my homie Jay, who helped me get one of my Frogmongers. Jay also took care of a pre-order for me for the WWE Elite Ultimate Edition Bret the Hitman Hart figure wearing the ring entrance jacket. That's coming out. I got Masterverse Sunman. I got Masterverse Zodak coming. Dude, it's gonna be fucking sick. And I haven't even gotten to DC Superpowers yet on this show. I just added 3 new figures to that. I wound up getting my Wonder Woman, Nightwing, and my Deathstroke the Terminator. Absolutely fucking sick. But the coolest thing I picked up recently is going to be an epic event that's going to be exclusive and only available to the Patreon subscribers. I got my Masters of the Universe Origins line. I got my Masters of the Universe Masterverse line. But I also spoke a little bit about the Netflix 2021 CG animated He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series, which may or may not be canceled at this point. I heard a couple of days ago that Netflix officially pulled the plug and canceled the 2021 reboot of Masters of the Universe. I'm absolutely pissed about it because I think that series was fucking amazing. It's still amazing. That's the He-Man series that I introduced to my daughter Sadie. That is the He-Man series that my daughter Sadie is most familiar with. She can't say He-Man yet, but she says Mimi. So when she says Mimi, I know what she's talking about. She wants to watch He-Man. But I've been buying that toy line for her because it's basic articulation. She's not going to choke. There's no small parts. Totally good. So she's got her He-Man and her Skeletor and her Trap Jaw and her Ram Mam and her Man-at-Arms and her Evil Lyn, and she's got like the Snake Layer playset and shit. Well, this past weekend, Big Bad Toy Store had a weekend sale. Now, this past fall, Mattel put out the Castle Grayskull for the Netflix animated Masters of the Universe series. It retailed for $100. Big Bad Toy Store had it on sale for $60 over the weekend. I grabbed that shit with the quickness because I never got it as a kid. It wasn't available for Julia, Owen, or Natalia. It is for Sadie. So Sadie's getting the hookup. Sadie officially got her own official, brand new, in-box, being mailed Castle Grayskull. And my wife and I had a talk. She made it clear, look, you've been buying enough toys for yourself. This is for Sadie. Understandable. I agree. It should be for her. But I get to unbox it exclusively on the show for my Patreon subscribers. I mean, if we're spending $60 on this Castle Grayskull, I might as well make some exclusive content and try to make my money back over the course of a couple of months. It's a fucking win. So, I'm going to be opening up, unboxing that Castle Grayskull, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm just as excited as...
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Okay, we had a slight hiccup. As you can tell by the quick edit, I was talking about the Castle Grayskull, and honestly, I already finished talking about the Castle Grayskull that I'm going to open exclusively for the Patreon subscribers. I also talked about getting ready to take my son this weekend. We're going to go to the Kang Bang, aka I'm taking him to see Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, because that movie review, that movie discussion is going to be episode 0 of the Original Geeks podcast that I'm going to get done upcoming next week, so I can get that $5 Patreon tier started and get prepared for episode 1 of the Original Geeks podcast that's coming WrestleMania weekend. And I already moved on. I was going to share a little bit of y'all. I was going to share a little bit with y'all of what it's like when I unbox something for the Patreon subscribers. But I don't have Buddy Misters here on the other side of the camera to be like, hey, Dad, your batteries are getting real low on your camera. We need to cut and you need to change your batteries. So I went to see where I was at with the camera, realized the camera shut down. So fucking here I am, picking up the pieces and gluing it back together. And I started opening up Thunder Punch He-Man. And before I got further involved with opening up Thunder Punch He-Man, I went and checked the camera. So I changed the batteries and fucking here we are. So Thunder Punch He-Man is officially getting unboxed. Oh, I dropped the sword. But yes, Thunder Punch He-Man, classic, one of the final original variant figures for He-Man in the original Masters of the Universe line. I mean, you had Battle Armor He-Man, Flying Fists He-Man, Thunder Punch He-Man, And they were going to release a laser light He-Man with a had a battery operated power pack that lit up his power sword. He only got released over in like Italy and Argentina. That's when Mattel pulled the plug on the line. Like I was talking about the Frank Langella Skeletor and how that Masters of the Universe movie completely ruined Masters of the Universe because Mattel just lost so much money. They pulled the plug on it, which means the 1988 original Powers of Grayskull expansion line never got brought to reality. And Thunder and Laser Light He-Man, Laser Light Skeletor were supposed to be a part of that, but they were also supposed to be like the final variants of He-Man and Skeletor released before it went to Powers of Grayskull. So I have a love-hate relationship with Thunder Punch He-Man. On one hand, this was one of my favorite He-Man variants when I was a kid. My issue was I got him Christmas 1987 before 87 became 1988. 1988 is when my Masters of the Universe toys got stolen from me. 1988 is when my parents got divorced. So 1988 kind of fucking sucked for Ian versus Daddybones. And it kind of started on Christmas 87. Because don't get me wrong, I was excited for my gifts and shit. But this was the Christmas that I got. This was the Christmas where I got my final OG Masters of the Universe toys for as Christmas gifts. Because they killed the line. But I was also unfortunate to open up 3 Thunder Punch He-Man characters. Like, my parents, well, Santa Claus got me the original Thunder Punch He-Man. So I opened it up and it's like, hell yeah, Santa, you're the man. I got Thunder Punch He-Man. Then, like, out-of-town relatives started coming to the house because that was, like, our first Christmas in our new house that my parents built and from the ground up, and it would wind up being our last Christmas in that house before my parents got divorced. So it's like my Grandma Marilyn and my Grandpa Jerry, my mother's parents, the grandparents that got me my Castle Grayskull from the garage sale that I was an ungrateful brat about because it wasn't a brand new Castle Grayskull and it didn't have all the weapons or the weapons racks or the flags or this and that, and you know, it was somebody else's, you know, already played with Castle Grayskull, and I was kind of a brat about that. And I already told that story if you want to go check out the Castle Grayskull episode of Ian versus Daddybones. But yeah, Grandma and Grandpa were like, "Here, Merry Christmas, Ian," and I opened up my present, and I saw the Masters of the Universe logo, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's a new character. I wonder if it's Scareglow. I wonder if it's Snout Spout or Burger King Randy." No, it's another Thunder Punch He-Man. I'm like, son of a bitch. Now I got 2 of them. Then my Uncle Rich, who was like one of my favorite uncles ever. He's my mother's brother. My Uncle Rich was like, "Merry Christmas, Ian." Gave me my Christmas present. Opened it up, saw that Masters of the Universe logo. I'm like, "Oh my God, maybe it's gonna be Burger King Randy or Snout Spout or Scareglow." And opened it up. Nope, it's another Thunder Punch He-Man. So I was kind of a little disappointed that I got 3 of the same fucking action figure, and I had to put on the gee, thanks, wow, and fake that shit. But I am a little nervous opening up Thunder Punch He-Man because I do know that some people online that have already received their Thunder Punch He-Mans like a month, 2 months ago. Some people were even able to, you know, when he first came out, some people were able to acquire him early, and some people claimed that when they went to take Thunder Punch He-Man out of this plastic bubble, his legs were broken. I've seen at least 5 incidents where people have reported that Thunder Punch He-Man had broken legs, and I'm wondering, is it on Mattel's end? Did Mattel cheap out this time around with the plastic? Like, what's going on here? But it also has me thinking that it's February rolling into March. It's February when I'm recording this. It's going to be March when you watch it. So, it's cold outside, is what I'm getting at. It's cold outside. It's a little nippy out. So, of course, if you're going to have something shipped to your house and delivered to your house, it's probably going to be cold because it just came off of whatever truck delivered it. DHL, FedEx, UPS. It could have been your local postal service. But you don't just open them as soon as they arrive in the mail because they're cold as fuck. They've been sitting in somebody's truck or a warehouse. You know what I mean? Let them warm up to room temperature before you go to take them out of their plastic. Like, this guy's been in his plastic for a couple of weeks now. Like, he should be good, but basically a lot of people said that their knee pegs, where the knee peg pops into the thigh meat, is where he was loose. But who knows? Nothing. So far, my legs seem to be intact. Awesome. See here, move him around, make sure he's all moves the way he's supposed to. Fucking sweet, man. See, personally, I'm not a big fan. I love these Masters of the Universe Origins figures, but honestly, I'm not a fan of... I'm not a fan of the way they do have the knees and the elbows, because he's supposed to bend at the elbow right there, but it's a little tough, and you can see the little hinge where it bends, but it's just a little plastic stick that's stuck in a hole that's like holding that shit together. So it's like, sometimes it bends no problem, other times it's stiff as fuck, and if you have like a little heat gun or a hair dryer, you'll be able to loosen up the joints that way. But so sometimes it's a pain in the ass, but that's the thing. I'm not really playing with them. Like, I like opening them up and be like, wow, that looks fucking dope. But he just goes back on the shelf with the rest of his homies. You know what I mean? I just got the whole fucking the squad up on the shelf. But no, the back of his packaging, it says, He-Man uses the powers of Grayskull to summon the mega-powered Thunder Punch. And on the back, you see Thunder Punch He-Man using the Thunder Punch against 2 Snake Troopers. See, the one thing I could say is, this is Snake Men Wave 1. Okay? And on the back, it also has the cross-sell art of who exactly is in this wave. It says, Rise of the Snake Men. The dreaded Snake Men have arisen from the darkest depths of Snake Mountain. King Hiss and his repulsive reptiles have vowed to destroy He-Man and his heroic warriors, as well as Sunman and the rulers of the sun. Will Eternia fall to the slithering swarm? And it shows Snake Men Wave 1. It has King Hiss, dreadful disguised leader of the Snake Men. Ratlord, evil creature with the quick strike head. Cobra Khan, evil master of snakes. Thunder Punch He-Man, heroic leader with a power punch. Snake Armor He-Man, most powerful snake hunter in the universe. And it says, and Boltman, from the rulers of the Sunline, molecular regenerator. I don't know what the hell that means. All I know is the figure looks like a Native American male, and he is throwing lightning bolts. So, he's Native American Zeus to me. You know what I mean? He's indigenous Zeus. So that's your Snake Men Wave 1, and you could add Mechaneck and the Ground Ripper to that, because we just opened up Mechaneck and the Ground Ripper. Just recently also opened up Camo Con, who's a variant of Cobra Khan that was available at Mattel Creations. So yeah, we're officially in Snake Men Wave 1 right now, and I can say based on the pre-orders that I was talking about, Boltman arrived at my house today. I officially have him in my possession. Ratlore and CobraCon are officially in the mail en route to my house. Snake Armor He-Man is currently on back order. He should be available in March. So Snake Armor He-Man is the only one from this wave that I haven't got shipping details and tracking information yet, and he hasn't even processed out of my pre-order pile. So he's gonna get taken care of. You got Snake Men Wave 2, aka Wave 12, and Snake Men Wave 2 is going to include Tongue Lasher. It's going to include Hypno, another character from Ruler of the Sun, Snake Armor Skeletor, and Mini Comics Roboto. So those are the 4 characters that's coming out for Snake Men Wave 2, aka Wave 12. Wave 13 has been officially announced. Wave 13 is going to consist of 2000X Burger King Randy. We're going to get Snake Tila. It's a green skinned version of Tila with snake scale pattern on her, and it's basically Tila got bit, infected by the Snake Men, and at some point she turns into the goddess, which basically Tila to the Snake Men is what C-3PO was to the Ewoks. They think she's a god, so they immediately stop working for Hiss and are loyal to her. So that's a whole 2000X thing, and that's a whole Masters of the Universe Classics thing, and it's been described in comics and whatnot, so it's definitely worth the rabbit hole to jump down. But yeah, Snake Tila, they're adding fucking Slamurai, who's a white version of Ninjor. So basically, if Ninjor, the evil black ninja, is like Snake Eyes in Masters of the Universe, Slamurai is his Storm Shadow. So you got Slamurai, 2000X Burger King Randy, Snake Tila, and they're also putting out the Snake Trooper. So which is basically the Horde Trooper with a Snake Man head. And that's going to be fucking dope. And those characters aren't available for pre-order right now, but I can officially say I have everybody in Wave 12 pre-ordered. I'm just waiting for them to come out in either March or April, whenever they finally release. So we're definitely on board with that. But the OG original Thunder Punch He-Man, he came in this special red, and it was like here it's just a light silver paint, but I'm pretty sure it was like a Vac Metal shiny silver in the 80s. But he basically had this gimmick in the back where this backpack would open up, and see, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you're playing outside with your friends. A lot of kids played with toy guns, and cap guns used to be a thing. Today, cap guns aren't around as much because in today's world, all you need is some 5-year-old playing in his backyard with a cap gun, you know what I mean? And then somebody hears a loud bang, they think something's going on, and next thing you know, some poor kid gets shot because all he was doing was playing in his backyard with his fucking cap guns. Meanwhile, some local gangbanger thought his life was in danger and decided to fucking shoot some kid. So this version of the character does not have the action feature of the Thunder Punch. Now, he does have that. He has his old school 80s articulation, bang, where he can move his fist and punch, and he makes that clicking sound. So that clicking sound represents the cap bang, even though it totally doesn't, but it's supposed to. And I do gotta say, it total nostalgic values right now. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I have bitched and complained a lot on this show and told the story about how my toys got stolen when I was a kid. So, You know what I mean? Like, buying these as an adult and reaccumulating my collection and growing my collection has just been so much fun. But honestly, after those toys got stolen, the reality is not everything got stolen. The only thing that didn't get stolen was pretty much everything that I got for Christmas that year. Like, my Snake Men were fine. I lost one of the Thunder Punch He-Men, but I still had two. You know what I mean? So it's like, even after my shit got stolen, at the end of the day, at one time, this was the only He-Man figure I had left. And, yeah, he just looks fucking awesome. And he always did. Like, I always thought he was cool because it was the only He-Man back in the day that came with a gold power sword. You know what I mean? I thought that was pretty neat. And he even has his replica shield that he had back in the day. And the only thing I do gotta say is this shield does feel kind of cheap plastic with the vac metal finish. I don't know, I kind of feel it could have been a little better quality of the shield as I'm trying to get him to hold on to it without dropping it. Come on, fucker. So yeah, he's got his shield. And the sword slides and fits inside the shield. And he also comes with this little gimmick called the blast effect that basically makes it look like he has the thunder hand for the thunder punch. But yeah, there he is in all his little fucking glory. You got Thunder Punch He-Man. He looks super fucking dope. Definitely a trip down memory lane. I'm going to take a picture of this guy later and send him to Bobby from back in the day and be like, hey, bro, you remember this guy? You can get him now, and drop him a link. But, yeah, I got Thunder Punch He-Man. He looks pretty fucking fresh. And he comes with an exclusive brand new mini comic called Heart of the Snake. And it's basically introducing the Snake Men. And looking through this comic real quick, it says, across the burning surface of the brightest star, the ghost of a falcon soars, commanded by an unknown voice. Fly, little bird, fly to the southernmost hemisphere, to the brightest point of this flaming sun. There you shall find it. And it shows Zor, the sorceress in her falcon form, flying through this, flying into the star, and she sees this golden serpent's ring. Bring it to me. And it shows her grabbing the serpent's ring with her talons, and then it shows the sorceress standing in front of King Hiss, and it says, thank you, sorceress, your talents for astral projection are quite useful. Why fight your abilities when I can command them? How I have craved this relic. All before me shall be turned into my snake slaves, beginning with you, sorceress. Not on my watch, you slithering creep. So, King Hiss clearly has the sorceress under some sort of mind control. He had her retrieve the serpent's ring, and then it shows him monologuing like normal bad guys until He-Man and Mecha-Neck and the Ground Ripper show up. And it shows, sorceress, you must break the serpent spell. And then King Hiss is all pissed off. How many times must you thwart me? And He-Man's like, as many as it takes. And then it says, you used all that evil relic once to turn all Eternians to your servant. So it shows King Hiss using the serpent's ring to turn the citizens of Eternia into snake men. And it says, I thought that blasted ring was destroyed when I heaved it into the sun. I don't know who the fuck's saying that, if that's supposed to be He-Man. Because it doesn't say. And it says, there's much you don't know, you ignorant fool. I know bad breath when I smell it. Let's small talk. More roadkill, says Mecha-Neck as he tries to assault King Hiss with the Ground Ripper, like literally straight up tries to run his ass over. And he goes, now you are mine. And Mecha-Neck's like, oh no. And he turned Mecha-Neck into a snake man. So it shows Mecha-Neck with a snake head real quick. But then the sorceress turns him back into normal Mecha-Neck. And he's like, gee, thanks. I hate snakes. And then King Hiss is like, bow before me, slaves. And the sorceress is like, "Your cheap tricks fooled us once, they will not work again." And then Mecha Neck's like, "At your service," as he wraps King Hiss up with his giant dick neck. And King Hiss is like, "No, you fool." And then he gets uppercut by King Hiss. And then apparently He-Man uppercut him out of his fucking skin, because now He-Man is just holding the empty skin of King Hiss, slithering away like the snake he is. "And what of the cursed relic?" And the sorcerer says, "I will cast it into the farthest reaches of the burning hearts of the farthest star. Its destination will become a forgotten secret along with other untold mysteries of Grayskull." So that is the very first comic that comes with Thunder Punch He-Man, and I believe it also is the same comic that comes with King Hiss inside his packaging. The one thing though I will notice, the cover of this mini comic, the image of King Hiss that's portrayed on this cover is actually straight up lifted and jacked off an original Masters of the Universe poster that came with the Masters of the Universe magazine that my mom used to grab me at the grocery store, like giant markets back in the 80s and shit. And I remember there was a poster that showed King Hiss in his massive snake form, and that was always like one of my favorite images, one of my favorite like art pieces of Masters of the Universe was He-Man facing off against King Hiss, and seeing him in his intimidating snake form version that the original figure just never brought across with the finished product. The original King Hiss just looked so not intimidating. He did not look like a threat. You know what I mean? For the guy that was supposed to be the king of snakes, he looked like he was made of all the smallest ones. But this new one looks absolutely sick. So right now for the Patreon subscribers, I'm going to be opening up Masters of the Universe Origins King Hiss. And I'll see the rest of y'all in a few short moments.
Epic Roast Guy. Roast Guy. Epic Roast Guy. Roast Guy.
Alright, we're officially back. As you can see, the rise of the Snake Man has officially kicked off, and you got Thunder Punch He-Man and King Hiss officially opened up in all their glory. And I gotta say, like, Thunder Punch He-Man, definitely one of my favorite He-Man characters, definitely one of my favorite variants. He was probably my favorite variant as a child, because I wasn't lucky enough to get Flying Fist He-Man. And King Hiss, the vintage King Hiss was always one of my favorite characters, even though he was always a little bit disappointing because I feel his snake form was always underwhelming. This badass I just opened for the Patreon subscribers looks absolutely sick. I mean, such a wonderful improvement for a modern figure based on a childhood favorite. And he even has multiple forms you could display him. He comes with his regular King Hiss arms. He's got his regular King Hiss head. So all you gotta do is pop off his arms, pop off his head, put his armor back over his torso to conceal his snakes. You can pop in his human arms and his human head, and there you have your disguised King Hiss. Or you can mix and match the parts. You can have him with his human arms, his human torso, and his snake head. You could have one regular arm, one snake arm, whatever you want to do. Either way, these are the two deluxe figures for Masters of the Universe Origins, Wave 11, Snake Men, Wave 1, whatever you want to call it. You can find these at Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. Availability? I have no idea. I pre-ordered mine. Mine showed up when they arrived and they got processed and mailed. Some places they may be sold out. Some places may have them for a round 2 of pre-orders. So either way, you should be able to get Thunder Punch He-Man, King Hiss without a problem. Just pay attention to what you're ordering on whether or not you're getting the United States version or you're getting the international version. Basically, the difference is everything's in English on the United States version. There's multiple languages on the international version, and the international version does not have words. There's no speech bubbles inside the comic books. You have to interpret everything. They don't, like this says Heart of the Snake. It doesn't even say Heart of the Snake on the international versions. They don't put words. But honestly, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Ian vs. Daddybones. Basically, I didn't want to delay the show any longer than I needed to this week because of the weather conditions. I also was really eager and excited to check out the new light and mess around with my light setup. I took a couple pointers from my homie Mike Rudolph over at MJR Visual Arts. They are a supporter and a Patreon subscriber, and Mike Rudolph is absolutely fucking talented with what he does. He's a photographer, he's a filmmaker, cinematographer, he's a rapper, you know what I mean? Mike is talented as fuck, and Mike is one of those talented motherfuckers that keeps Binghamton, New York on its toes and constantly makes sure that everybody in the area doing something can all network together, because this guy may do that, this guy could do that, but this guy also knows these people, and these people also know this guy. So it's like, it's all about networking and creativity and people coming together. And Mike Rudolph has been absolutely dope. I actually got to interview him years ago on one of my old projects, and I look forward to basically redoing that interview over on the Original Geeks podcast once that shit comes back. So again, without the ramble, thank you very much, Mike, for your lighting technique videos I've been paying attention to on Facebook and the YouTube channel. But coming up on upcoming episodes of the show, like I said, man, I got so much shit coming down on deck, about to arrive. I mean, I got that I got the Castle Grayskull unboxing for Patreon subscribers. You know, and speaking of Patreon subscribers, and even on the Ian vs. Daddybones OnlyFans, you know, you can go to the OnlyFans, throw me $5 a month, you get exclusive bonus content, toy hunt videos and whatnot, gameplay streams. If you subscribe to the Patreon for $1, you get 30 days of bonus content, not to mention the fact that I'm bringing the Original Geeks podcast back. That's going to be on the $5 a month tier, which includes all of the perks and bonuses from the tier 1 $1 tier. So there's all sorts of shit going on with Ian vs. Daddybones. But thank you very much for kicking it with me today and watching me play with myself and my toys. I look forward to doing it again next week. So until then, cheers, Pete!